Hello, everybody, and good evening to you. Hope you had a good day. I'm back a few hours later, not much sleep. Game was late last night. Had a long chat. One of the longest chats I've had after the game. Ooh, I forgot to switch on my lights. Let me just switch them on. And yeah, today I'm flying solo. Guys, because KC React is not available. But he will be back. Nothing bad. Just sometimes, we have to do what we have to do. So KC React will not be with us today. What's going on with my mic? What's happening today? What's going on? Let me just yeah. So KC React is not in today. So flying solo for the midweek debate, but I'm sure we are going to have a good discussion because Carrick is still unbeaten. 4 wins, 1 draw. And United are still unbeaten in the PL, in the English Premier League in 2026. United are still flying high. Confidence is still high. So we are going to look at that game. We didn't do a good review last night, of course, because it was late. I started mumbling on because I was tired. I was not making sense in what I was saying. And of course, it was late. I think we ended the stream at 2 a.m. Kenyan time. It was late. So we're going to go through that, as well as ask, should Carrick be given the permanent head coach role? The manager search is still on. A couple of managers have become available. Dizabi is one of them, as well as other key names have been mentioned. And Tottenham have sacked their coach. They've made a change. So there are rumors that Tottenham will reach out to Michael Carrick. They are impressed with what he's doing. Of course, he's a former boy. He's a former player. So we are going to go through that, as well as the search for a midfield. The search for midfield reinforcements. That is, United still need midfielders. So, as usual, get involved in the comment section below. Let's make this debate lively. Thanks for everyone who's joining. Evans Pemba, hi, I'm back. Good to see you. Big up. Been missing in action, but it's good to see you. One of the UKG legends, one of the UKG members. He's a legend. Good to see you back, Evans. Karibu sana, welcome. And everyone who's joining from YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Kik, TikTok, everywhere, multi-streaming. Get involved in the comment section. So let's have a look at the West Ham game. I was confident of a win. I'm sure you are confident of a win. A lot of us were confident of a win, but it didn't quite happen. And one of the things we did learn from that game, or more or less it was a reminder, is that United struggle whenever they play a low block. And it's not an issue that Carrick has brought in or has come in with in terms of his tactic, in terms of his setup. No, this has been an issue that has been long-standing for quite some time. We saw it with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We saw it with Erik ten Hag. They struggled. Amorim also struggled with low blocks. And it's an issue that when you look at it, it's not a Carrick issue. It's not brought about because of how he plays. The last 4 games previous to the West Ham game, we've seen United play more direct, more transitional, and it has worked. 4 out of 4 wins. The draw is still a good result. Away from home, it's still a good result. I don't know why I've seen a lot of guys are making it as if it's not a good result. And I don't like the fact that the guy with the big hair is getting all the media attention. I'm not enjoying that fact. It shouldn't be that United need to win so that an individual can shave their head. No, should be that United need to win. The pressure should be to win to solidify top four. And currently, United and Chelsea are twinning. They are twinning. Chelsea sack their manager, United sack their manager. Chelsea win, United win. Chelsea draw, United draw. So United are twinning at the moment. So that game was a difficult game. It was always going to be a difficult game. Nuno has had a very good time when playing against United. We can go all the way back to his Wolves days. Um, I saw a stat that Nuno has played 16 times versus United. 10 times the game has been a draw. Um, Starting all the way from his Wolves days. So he knows how to counter United. He knows how to play versus United. We know how Nuno sets up. He's been making life difficult for United managers, whether it's Carrick, whether it's Ten Hag, whether it's Amorim. Nuno has always had a way to play against United, and yesterday was a difficult game. Wan-Bissaka decided to have a man of the match performance, and those are the performances we expected to see him when he was at United. Spider legs. Spider legs. Wan-Bissaka had a very good game. But that game exposed something we already know, highlighted something we already know, reminded us of something, that United with a low block, it's always a struggle. And I mentioned previously, and I've mentioned a couple of times, that the team has always been set up to play direct or transitional football. And it needs to be in a situation where we need to see United. We need to see United play more of a controlled game. We need to see late runners in the box. We need to see channels being opened up, players making runs to open up spaces. Basically, find a way to play against low blocks. Because the next game is Everton, which is in 2 weeks' time, or 1.5 weeks' time. And the good thing about that is United have time to actually look at the game. Carrick and his coaching team have time to look at the game. The players have time to look at it and now start finding ways to counter a low block. It's been a long-standing issue. It's been a long-standing issue. This is not an issue that Carrick is experiencing the first time with United. He also experienced it as a player under Sir Alex Ferguson, and they used to find a way to beat a low block. You remember the cold nights, Tuesday nights at Stoke City, at Sunderland. They used to find a way. The games were narrow wins. I remember there are games that United won with penalties, with set pieces. So it's a matter that any United manager coming in, or head coach that is coming in, whether it's Carrick who is right there now, or the next permanent head coach, they need to find a way to counter that. Because to me, it's more of also a squad issue. When it comes to beating a low block, there needs to be late runners. There needs to be late runners towards the box. You look at how Pep has managed to beat low blocks. He's having late runners like Bernardo Silva running into the box late, like Phil Foden running into the box late, getting passes, because they make runs from deep and then go into the box. The ball is played in, or they do a cutback. A striker goes to attack the penalty area, and it's an easy tap in. But with United, we saw a couple of times there were no players in that box. There was no player attacking that space. A couple of times we saw it happen, I think once or twice or thrice. Casemiro did get a chance. It was an offside. In the last game, the Tottenham game, Ahmad was a late runner towards the box. It was called for an offside. So such kind of runners are what United miss. And it comes from the midfield setup as well. The sort of profiles we have at the moment don't really make those runs. If you look at Bruno, if you look at Cunha, you look at Mbumo, they look at dribbling or shooting outside the box. That's what they normally do. So part of the coaching that should be done, part of the profiles that they should be looking at when it comes to the midfield options, is to look for guys who can run into the box late. We saw McTominay do that versus Brentford when he was still a United player, running late into the box and got 2 goals, got United the wins. Yeah, you remember when Cavani was there as well during COVID period. There was a game United was losing 2-0. Cavani came on, scored 2 important goals through late runs towards the box. And that's how you unlock a low block. That's how you unlock a team that's sitting deep. They don't want to give you spaces. So that game, as much as, yes, we say Sheshko was missing, still there need to be late runners. You look at how United scored that goal, that equalizing goal. It came about by guys running into the box, creating issues, creating trouble. So either you'll get a goal or it will be a penalty or a corner. Something must happen when you have guys in the box. But for 60 minutes in that game, we really didn't see a lot of running towards the box. The box was mostly unoccupied. Just need to get my water. The box was mostly unoccupied. So it's something that will come with the squad options. It's something that should come with coaching as well. And I've mentioned that having that extra time, considering that United don't have a game over the weekend, it's an FA Cup weekend. United will have enough time to actually analyze the game and try to come up with solutions. Because you look at the next fixtures United are going to play, starting with Everton, they will involve teams that have a low block. David Moyes is very good at defensive setup. He's very, very good. He has always been good with his defensive setup. And we remember last time United lost to Everton 1-0 when Everton were 10 men. They were able to deploy a low block and still won the match. They were very comfortable defending. So what we've seen mostly United do when it comes to a low block, they try shots outside the box, which is a good thing. Anything can happen. It can become a goal. They try crosses. Most of the teams who deploy a low block are prepared for the crosses. And they need also to borrow a leaf from teams like Man City who are able to unlock a low block. A team like Arsenal, what they do, they just look for corners because they know their set pieces are good. And teams that normally do a low block, teams that normally come into a game knowing that they are going to lose or there's a high probability that they will lose, when they deploy a low block, they are prepared for corners, they are prepared for aerial balls. So what do? You have to come up with a solution. You simply have to come up with a solution. Because last night or early today morning, I said, we can't just say, oh, it's difficult to unlock a low block and just leave it like that. No. Because United can't afford to get draws. You remember Leeds, it was a draw. Burnley, it was a draw. Wolves, it was a draw. And draws, you are dropping 2 points. You look at those fixtures in December, United dropped 6 points. 6 points in 3 games because of draws. One thing I'm glad is that Carrick is taking risks. Carrick is taking risks, and that's what United is all about. That's part of the United way. That's part of the United DNA, taking risks. He took out Dalot and brought on a forward. That's good because that now shows intent. He took out Dalot, brought on Zagzi, and there was a change in the game. And it's good to see the team fighting, the team coming back to get a draw from a very, very difficult position. Basically being 1-0 down, looking at defeat and making those attacking changes and getting a point. Credit to Carrick. That's what a Manchester United manager should do. We can't afford to be losing 1-0 like we saw versus Everton and then you're bringing on a defender. It doesn't make sense. Just throw in a striker. It's kitchen sink kind of situation, And it's good we've seen that versus West Ham. We've also seen it versus Fulham. He took the risks and United scored. Sheshko is having a good game. Ahmad, the change of position has really affected him. The best performances we've seen from Ahmad is playing as a wing back. He has more space to dribble the ball. He has more space to figure out what to do. But now him playing as a winger, something has happened. Let's hope it's just a dip in form and he will come back. But for now, Sheshko should start. So one of the changes I would recommend or I would want to see in that Everton game is play Mbuma on the right and then play Sheshko up top. Because also Everton are good in terms of defending, as I've mentioned. The false nine did not quite work in that game. The false nine, most of the time, we didn't have someone in the box, as I've said, attacking the box, late runners into the box. You find that the players we want to be in the box to score were mostly outside. Bumo was outside the box. He was dropping deep to collect the ball. Cunha the same. Bruno, we always know that whenever things are tough, he will try to fix it. He will try to run around, try to connect play. But by the time he's looking up, there is no one attacking the box. Ahmad, yes, he was sometimes high, the player farthest forward, but mostly on the wing, mostly on the right wing. Something else that I wouldn't want to see moving forward is playing Ahmad Mbumo on that left side. It's not working. We saw under Amorim, we saw under Carrick, we saw it yesterday, that playing those players on the left, it's not their best position. They are not providing that input. They're not providing that attacking input that we will see when they are playing off the right. So that's something I would want to see being fixed. Dogu, of course, is a big miss. Dogu is a very, very big miss because we've seen Dogu can play very well on both wings. He's that he can adapt. He's that good. Dalo, still question marks. Yesterday he was exposed a bit, more so when we needed him in attacking areas. So some of the bad things are what I've mentioned. Some of the good things is that fighting spirit, not accepting to lose that game, trying as much as possible to win the game. Sheshko scored a brilliant goal. Sheshko really scored a brilliant goal. That's a striker's goal. That's a poacher's goal. That's a number 9 goal. And right now he deserves, because the last 5 games he has now 4 GAs, I think 3 goals and 1 assist. So Sheshko deserves to play. It's good to see him fighting. It's good to see him now finally giving some good performances, getting goals, and it will build his confidence. And he's young. One thing that we can appreciate about Benjamin Sheshko is that he's trying, he's fighting. He wants to be in that team. He wants to play. You can see it. You can see by how he's running. The few minutes he came on, he was continuously shifting positions, asking for the ball, and it gave defenders something to think about. Kobe also played relatively well, but he still needs to improve the defensive aspects of his game. And Casemiro was a bit incognito in that game, but still he was good when we needed him. Martinez is good. Martinez coming back has also made United be more solid, playing a bit better, although he tends to hold on to the ball a bit longer than expected. But Martinez, playing from the back, building from the back, he's a key figure. He's a key figure in that game. Maguire worked hard. He was substituted for Len Yoro. And Len Yoro is the future of the club. Len Yoro is the future of that defense. Len Yoro made 2 key blocks in that game. Everton could have scored 2 more goals, but Len Yoro was immense in that defense. He's a young player. He hasn't had a lot of chances to play games. Obviously, Maguire and Martinez coming back, you'd prefer to play them ahead of Yoro, but yesterday he did show that he's the defender we need to have starting next season. Considering that Maguire is leaving, we need someone. De Ligt has been injured. I don't know what's happening with him. So Len Yoro, we remember that he was of interest from Real Madrid. Real Madrid really wanted him. He decided to come to United. And the unfortunate bit is United are not playing a lot of games. And another unfortunate aspect of him this season is when he had the chance to play, considering Martinez and Maguire as well as De Ligt were unavailable, he had a dip in form. His confidence dipped. He did not have a good run of form at that time. And unfortunately, that has been detrimental to him. It's been a disadvantage to him. But when he came on those few minutes, Len Yoro was good. Sun elements, he still needs to improve a bit, especially when it comes to those direct balls to him. But he did make good saves. He's still a good goalkeeper. He will improve. He's still young. We need to be patient. Similar to other players like Sheshko, Yoro, they are still young. They are still young. I know the pressure of playing for Manchester United is huge, but they are still young. They are still very, very, very young. So I've posted a poll on our YouTube channel. Do you think that this is a reality check? The honeymoon is over, or is it just a blip? Is it just a blip and United will continue winning games? So I've posted that poll on our YouTube channel. Make sure you head over there, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share as well. It helps the video move up. The algorithm will be able to push the video suggestion to more viewers. Right now, we are at 675 subscribers. We're still pushing to get to 1,000. Still pushing. And yeah, TikTok, we are at 7K followers. We want to get to 10K. So make sure you also hit that follow button on TikTok. So let me read some of the comments before we move on to the topic of the day. Should Carrick be given the permanent job? That's the main debate of the day. Should Carrick be given the permanent job? So let me read through some of the comments. I'm seeing TikTok is very active. Evans, you're saying a low block is always a problem to United. Yes, it has been. It has been. And it's not, as I said, it's not an issue that's specific to Carrick. It's not. It's not that it's how he's setting up that's bringing an issue. No, it's not. It's something that has been experienced by very many managers at United. Ole struggled with it. When teams realized that Ole is playing direct, is playing transitional, they decided to play low blocks. Eric Ten Hag the same. He tried a bit here and there, and sometimes it worked. I've given an example of McTominay. You remember that game versus Brentford? 2 goals. Or is it not Brentford? I think it's Brentford. I stand corrected if I'm wrong. He got 2 goals, and it was because of late runners. One of the ways to sort out the way Pep has been able to actually dismantle a low block is having late runners towards the box. So they pass around the defense, and then they have guys who are running in late. A through pass goes in, or a chipped pass. It's either a goal or a cutback, a striker or someone else running in late to the box, getting onto it and scoring. But United don't have such kind of late runners. And United are also set up in a way that they want to do counter control. So they have more bodies outside the box. So that means that United, as they are looking for a midfielder, they also need to look for a midfielder that can run back fast to defend, that is athletic enough to actually run back and defend. At the same time, we need Cunha, Mbumo, Bruno to also make those runs, to make those late runs into the box and get that goal, like what Casemiro did. Unfortunately, it was an offside, but those sort of runs are what we want to see. That's how you break a low block. You look at City, how they've been able to do it, and an EPL low block, I agree, an EPL low block is not similar to what is in France, Germany, Spain. It's different. But you look at how Pep is able to break it down, it's because he has late runners towards the box. Reinders right now makes those runs. Phil Foden makes those runs. They will concentrate probably on Haaland because of crosses, but you find that they have late runners towards the box. Ryan Chaki is doing it. So that keeps the defenders busy. They have to actually look around and see, oh, I have someone running in. And when you have late runners, it also creates spaces for the guy with the ball. They can shoot into towards the box, or towards goal, that is, and they can get a goal. But right now for United is mostly passive. It's sideways back, sideways cross. And teams are prepared for that cross. They actually want United to cross that ball in. So late runners will help. The front three, that is left wing, right wing, number 10, they need to make those late runs. If not, allow Casemiro, allow Mainu, set them up in such a way that they can run in, because no one is expecting that run. But right now, we have a lot of bodies in front of the defenders. I also mentioned yesterday, I mentioned it after the Fulham game, a good indicator of late runners and trying to break that low block is seeing a lot of offsides being called, like the Casemiro one, like the Ahmad one versus Tottenham. That's a good indicator that actually you're breaking them down. You are getting the ball through. You might get one offside, 2 goals, or 2 offsides, 1 goal, but it shows that you're continuously breaking it down. And that now will force the opponent manager to start now trying to figure out, how do I now stop these runners, stop these late runners towards the box, and that creates space on top of the box. So players will now have more freedom to now actually make those shots towards goal. Yeah. So it's an issue that transcends across many managers. It's not only an issue that is specific to Carrick. Kimi Apps, good to see you. Our back four and midfield from yesterday was basically Ten Hag's team. True, Kimi. Very, very true. Very true. But yesterday, well, Luke Shaw and Dalot are not good. Dalot, he needs to improve a lot. He's a mature United player. He's been there for a very long time. He should be one of the best players in that team based on playing under different managers, understanding systems. So when it comes to attacking, I don't know what happens to him. It's like he doesn't want to attack. Let's see. How weird is that? Yes, it's weird. Kimi, I mentioned a while back that one of the biggest problems United have is replacing players. Like right now, we see Luke Shaw, Maguire are on form. So what will the board do? They will say, what's the point of investing in a center back and a full back? And these guys are on form. Let's focus on the midfield only. We'll focus on center backs later or a full back later. Similar to what they did in attack. They looked at Rashford, they looked at, Garnacho is now there, he's performing well. So is there any need to go and look for squad options? No. We are good. And they end up not signing anyone. You look at Carrick, who's now the interim head coach, has not really been replaced in that midfield. Scholes as well has not really been replaced. The closest we've seen replacements is when we had Pogba, Herrera, and Matic. That is the closest I can say. And still, that combination was not good enough. Pogba left, Matic left, Herrera left. We still haven't seen a lot of changes in terms of replacements. In defense, at least we can say Eden Heaven can be a replacement for Martinez. Yoro can be a replacement for Maguire. But Luke Shaw, part of the discussion today is to do with the squad rebuild, transfer talk. Most of the talk is on midfield. Yes, we know it's a big issue. But we also need a right back. We also need a left back. We also need a second striker, a left winger. So, Kimi, that's what's going on. United have an issue when it comes to actually replacing players. And Ineos have a tough job. As much as they want the next permanent head coach, that squad needs a serious rebuild. There needs to be serious investment in that squad. If we go back and look at players that played against Luke Shaw, players that played against Maguire, in teams like City, Arsenal, Liverpool, which other team? Chelsea. If we look at City's squad, Chelsea's squad, Liverpool's squad, even Arsenal squads, if we look at those squads and ask which players are still in those teams and played versus Luke Shaw, Dalot, and Maguire at United, I don't think you can you can count them in one hand. There are very, very few. Very, very few players are still at those clubs. They keep replacing, they keep trying to go to the next level. But with United, we keep hold of them. I've seen talks of giving Maguire a contract extension. I'm not against it, but you should give him an extension in the view that you're bringing up someone to replace him. So now Maguire would be comfortable playing in certain games, but not all games. So you now start playing Euro or Heaven as an understudy to Maguire. You have him as a squad option, but not as a starter. For example, right now, there's a debate about Bruno, whether he will stay. There's a discussion, not a debate, a discussion whether Bruno will stay or leave. But if we look at our squad, do we have someone who can step in and replace him? Are United looking for Bruno's replacement right now? Casemiro is leaving. Are United looking for his replacement? What if Sheshko is injured? Who's going to replace them? Are we still going to go with a false nine? So those are the things I expect Ineos to start sorting out. Ineos starts sorting out. What did SKD say? I'm not seeing the comment. I'm not seeing SKD's comment. El Gringo, good evening, UKG. Hope you had a lovely day and hope your night is going on well. It was a tough day, El Gringo. Big up, El Gringo. It was a tough day. I was very, very sleepy. I actually took half of the day off because I was very sleepy. I was very, very tired. I had a long day, good day yesterday. But that last night we did almost 4.5 hours of the stream. So I was tired. But my evening is good. I took a late afternoon nap. I'm feeling a bit rested. Yeah, and of course, the fatigue from the weekend trip is still there. Dave, big up. You're saying PTSD, yeah, Ole, and inafanyanga siko confident and giving him full time. Full time. Yeah, so basically, to translate, Dave is saying he has PTSD from Ole's time. That's why he's not confident, and he's still and not giving Carrick the full time job, basically. So he still has PTSD from all his time, and he's reluctant to give Carrick the full time job. So that now takes us to the next topic. Now, the next topic: Carrick has been unbeaten. Should he get the permanent manager job? So yeah, I'm still there, Dave. I'm still there. I still have PTSD. I don't know whether you were here after the Fulham game. I was ranting, and I was not ranting because United won. I was ranting because I saw shades of now what happened yesterday. Like low blocks is still an issue. So a lot of fans have PTSD. Trust me. Trust me. We'll mention that when it comes to the actual topic. El Gringo, honestly, that draw made my night to be worse. It's United. It's Manchester United. That's what they do. Duncan, big up. You're saying Liverpool will make the top 4. Let's see how it goes, Duncan. Let's see how it goes. Sunderland have given teams a very difficult time at their home ground. Very, very difficult time at their home ground. Sunderland, the project seems to be working. And I don't think Sunderland will be relegated anytime soon if they continue with the job they are doing. There are rumors that big clubs are starting to look at some of their players. Like United have been looking at some of their midfielders. A player like Sadiki is attracting interest from top clubs. So if they start losing players like that, then it will be tricky. Granit Xhaka has been a very good addition to that team. He's a very good captain. He's a leader in that team. He's actually doing a very, very good job. So I hope Liverpool don't win. I'll be supporting Sunderland. Duncan, Luke Shaw ni mnoma akona experience, but age has caught up with him. Yeah, Luke Shaw performs well whenever there is a Euro or a World Cup. That's what he does. Whenever there is a big tournament, an international tournament, he always shows up. Like Luke Shaw hasn't been injured. Have you noticed that? Hasn't been injured. He's playing all games. Has Luke Shaw missed any game really? I don't think so. So Carrick has had an unbeaten run in both spells. He hasn't lost in both interim spells. He has 4 wins, 1 draw. The draw, I can just say it's a blip. I've said, to me, it's a blip. It shouldn't be an indicator that he's not the guy to give the permanent job. There is also some PTSD, as Dave has mentioned, because guys are trying to draw parallels with Ole. Like, he came in as an interim, he performed well, he was given the permanent manager role. It didn't work out, he was sacked. But to me, Carrick and Ole are two different individuals. In fact, the way Carrick plays his football is different from how Ole plays. In that West Ham game, United were building with a back three. The build-up was a back three. Most of the time, we saw Luke Shaw, Maguire, and Martinez in that back three in a build-up. Dalot was pushing forward. Carrick has a way of also setting up different ways during the game. For example, the Tottenham game, it ended up being a 4-3-3. The Arsenal game, it ended up being a 3-5-2 at times, or a 5 at the back. So he has different ways of setting up. He actually did a very good job at Middlesbrough. It's just that he lost key players and the board did not support him, and he was unable to get promoted to the Premier League, and that's why he was sacked. So guys will bring in the argument that Carrick was sacked at Middlesbrough, so why should United give him the permanent job? No. Teams are different. A good example is Carlo Ancelotti. Carlo Ancelotti at Chelsea performed well. At Everton, he did not. At Real Madrid, performed well. It does not mean that now, since Carlo was sacked at Everton, he should not be given the Real Madrid job. No, he went there and actually did a good job. So to me, if Carrick continues performing this well, because he did not lose to West Ham, it was a draw, and he actually made changes to get the draw. So that is a good sign. It's a good sign that he's actually a good coach. He can be a good coach. Given a good environment, given good players, I believe Carrick will perform well. He should be given the manager role if he performs well. He should be given a chance to even interview for the role. Because the last 5 games, he's beaten City, he's beaten Arsenal, he's beaten Tottenham. Regardless of whether Tottenham had a red card or not, he's beaten them. United have had a difficult time versus Tottenham in recent history, but he was able to beat them. United had to come back to draw with Tottenham 2-2, but he beat them. Thomas Frank has been on the job. Carrick interviewed him. Carrick got the job and he beat Thomas Frank. Thomas Frank was sacked today because Tottenham asked that they will get relegated. So he should be, to me, he should be given a fair chance. Of course, interview him with other candidates, because there are other people who are being mentioned. Like Dizabi is out of the job and he wants to come back to Premier League based on reports. City, we don't know whether Pep will be at City. Probably when he wins a trophy like UCL or pushes and wins the Premier League, he will say, that's fine, I'm done, see ya. And probably they'll go for someone like Dizabi. Thomas Tuchel, it seems like the way the rumors are, it's like he will just do this England job in 2026, the World Cup, then he will look to go back to club football. Because national team managers, we can't say they are really busy, especially when they are used to club football. You can imagine now, after the World Cup, they'll wait for international friendlies, they'll wait for Nations League, they'll wait for Euros, and then they will for the World Cup, which is another 4 years. So they would want to go back to club management. And we've seen a lot of clubs are giving head coaches, managers 3-year contracts. So he might come to United. He might leave England, come to United. Then if it doesn't work out after 3 years, he can leave and get another international job. Like Carlo Ancelotti, he's at Brazil. Who's to say that he can stay there longer? He might decide, after the World Cup, I'll go back to club management. But now back to Carrick. Yes, there is that fear that since it didn't work out with Ole, it would not work out or it will not work out with Carrick. Fair enough. Fair enough. It might be the case, it might not. Those are two different individuals. Their playing style is different. And Carrick has more experience at England or English football. He has more experience in England, English football, than Ole Gunnar. He has more experience. He has more first team experience in England compared to Ole. He's already showing that he can actually manage this team. He's already showing it. And if he continues doing so and gets to the Champions League, gets United to Champions League, he should have a fair shout. I don't know what your thoughts are, but that's my view. Yes, the Ole story, the Ole history is giving United fans a lot of doubt. But let's treat it as two different individuals. Let's treat it as two different individuals. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Whether Carrick with his unbeaten run is proving that he needs to get the job or not. The way I view the Carrick debate in terms of him getting the permanent job is, assume you have an intern. You give the intern a job, they perform well, you give them a permanent contract, permanent and pensionable, or you give them a long-term contract after their internship, then they get too comfortable, no longer perform. I'm not saying Ole was too comfortable. I think that's a bad way to frame it. Let me say you give the intern the contract, you tell them your internship was successful, you did a good job, we want you on board. You give them a contract, they do a good job, then somewhere down the line, they don't start performing. You tell them, hey, it's not working out, we have to let you go. You get another intern, they start doing a good job. Would you really look at the previous intern and say, well, we've had an intern before, he did a good job, he came in, we can't really give you a contract because we are scared that it might end up being like the previous one. When it comes to, if you look at it from a business or corporate point of view, it doesn't really make sense. Because if we go by that logic, then it would mean United wouldn't really go for another head coach because they've brought on managers that have won trophies elsewhere. They come to United, they don't perform well. They've gone for Mourinho. Yes, he won Europa, he won Carabao Cup, but in the end, it did not work out well. So let's say they want to go for someone like Tuchel. So Tuchel won the UCL, but it did not end well at Chelsea. So will they say, since he did not work out well at Chelsea, we won't really go for him? That's how I'm trying to relate the Carrick debate. Because Ole failed or did not work, it did not work out with Ole, we shouldn't go for Carrick. No. There is a fair shout. It's a fair concern. But to me, it shouldn't be the main reason why Carrick is not being asked to continue with the job. No. He shouldn't be. You look at a coach like Pep. Pep was coaching Barcelona's academy. He went into the first team and performed well. There are other coaches that have done the same and haven't performed well. Not necessarily in Barcelona, but in other teams. So it doesn't mean that if you have a good manager who's managing under 21s, you don't give them the job because the previous one was not performing. A good case in point with United is Fletcher. Fletcher is managing the under 18s. He was given a caretaker role for 2 games. He drew 1, lost 1, and went back to the under 18s. So if next time, let's say we have a Maverick, a talent managing the under 21s, should we now say, since it didn't work out with Fletcher, we can't really trust you to manage the first team? I think this should be handled as an isolated case. When it comes to giving Carrick the permanent job, it should be handled as an isolated case, because right now he's showing those 5 games, he's showing that actually he can do the job. One thing that actually makes United managers fail or struggle is the board is not doing a good job to shield them from external pressure. They need to find a way to shield Manchester United head coaches or managers from external pressure. Simply by giving them the players, simply by supporting them when it comes to getting rid of passengers in that team. When they see that a manager needs a striker, they don't start haggling. They don't start negotiating. They tell him, we see the need for a striker. We are going to get you a striker. It's been a very, very long time since we've seen that actually happen at United. One of the reasons why Ole failed is because he was not fully backed. He wanted players like Declan Rice. He wanted Haaland. He wanted Bellingham. He did not get those players. Instead, he got Ronaldo. He got Cavani. And he had to work with them. Now, when Ronaldo came on, Cavani was already playing well. He was already scoring goals. He was on form. So now he has a headache. First, take away the number 7 shirt from Cavani to give it to Ronaldo because of marketing value and all that. You've already started giving him a headache in terms of now Cavani is not in the right mindset. You gave me the number 7 shirt. I'm already scoring goals. So now you're asking me to give it to Cristiano. Why? Then now the question is, how do I manage Ronaldo? There are some games I would prefer him to start off the bench. There are some games I would prefer him to start. So instead of going to the next level where you tell him, we need to build for now and the future, you start giving him that headache of managing egos in the dressing room. So Ole did not fail because of his tactics. Ole failed because he needed support. He needed to be shielded from external pressure. It did not happen. If Ole got the backing, the time, and the shielding that Arteta got, Ole right now will still be a Manchester United manager and will still be winning trophies. He did not win any at his time, but the way he built the squad, he built it in a way that it was competing with the top dogs. He was competing with Liverpool. He was competing with Man City. And remember, Liverpool, Klopp was there. Man City, Pep was there. And he was able to compete with them. But now when it came to backing him in terms of transfers, in terms of shielding him from media pressure, fan pressure, no. The Manchester United board have a way of hiding under a manager, letting the manager take the fall for things that they shouldn't. We knew the previous manager played a certain way, played a certain formation. He was not really backed fully. United bought 4 players, 2 of which came in late because they saw the need that actually he needed to get those players, a striker and a goalkeeper. They went for a goalkeeper because Bandia was not performing well. So Carrick can't succeed if the United board support him, back him. The next manager, the permanent manager, whether it's Carrick or not, will succeed if the board is aligned. If they shield the next manager, the next head coach from external pressure, media pressure, fan pressure, then they actually back them with transfers in and out. In and out. Even if it means it's getting rid of a player who's a fan favorite. Other clubs are doing it. United have also done it. United let go of Beckham, let go of Ronaldo, let go of a lot of good players, Yapstam, and still United survived. Still United continued winning trophies. because Ferguson had the backing. But what's happening at the moment is whichever manager comes in, they're not being shielded from the media pressure. The director of football, the CEO, need to come out and say, no, we are actually working with them. We know where the issue is. The only time Ineos did it was when United won those 3 matches in October. That's when now they did interviews. But when Amorim was struggling, they hid. They were nowhere to be seen. They did not come out and say, no. Yeah, we know the squad needs a rebuild. We are going to support him. We are going to give him time. We are going to do all that. To a point where Amorim got frustrated, called them out. He called them out and said, you guys need to do your job. Let me do mine, you do yours. Don't tell me to play a back four and still you're not giving me players. You're not giving me midfielders. You're not giving me strikers. 3 players are away for AFCON. So a back four won't really help. A back four won't help. So get me support. I wish United was in a situation where they support managers how Chelsea are supporting. Chelsea have good problems. In fact, Maresca being sacked is justified. Even though he was being asked to play certain players to get their values up based on reports and rumors, that's still a good problem. You have good squad options. You have like 7 wingers to choose from. You have like 10 defenders to choose from. Even when you have injuries, you still have good options. You look at United like yesterday, you look at the bench, you start negotiating. Who's going to play right wing? Who's going to come and play for Casemiro? Ugarte? Bring on Ugarte. Media pressure, fan pressure. So, to me, my only worry is Carrick does well with this squad, gets the job, and then they tell him, oh, you are already performing with the squad, so why do you need additions? That's my worry. That's my worry when it comes to giving Carrick the job. They'll just tell him, yeah, you were able to get UCL with this team, so we'll just get you 1 or 2 players here and there, and then see how it goes. In case you don't perform well, we'll wait till January and see what we can do. This squad needs players. We need to have a very, very good squad. Starting 11, on the bench, and reserves. Reserves are not academy players. No, reserves can also be players who deserve to play in the first team. Now, next season, if United get the UCL, when United get the UCL, they'll need a squad that can be able to play Premier League, to play Champions League, to play Carabao Cup, to play the FA Cup. Right now, with this squad, it's difficult to have that sort of rotation. So to me, the unbeaten run is a good indicator. Right now, it's a very good indicator that Carrick deserves to be given a chance. More so if he continues climbing up the table, why should he not be? So let me know in the comment section what you think. Are you worried that Carrick might end up being another Ole? Are you worried that yes, he will be given the permanent job and United continue as is? Let me know your thoughts. Let me check the comment section. Nothing much. Nothing much is happening. Yeah, so the next one is related to that Carrick debate. A couple of managers are now available. Dizabi is available, and we know that he plays a certain way. He's very good at direct play, possessional play. He's good at setting up his team. Yes, he's a very strong character when it comes to demanding what he wants. But the relationship with Marcelo has broken down. They've decided to part ways. There are managers that will be free after the World Cup. Ancelotti will be free. Tuchel will be free. And now the United are trying to find a manager. One thing that I mentioned last week is we need to see a lot of activity when it comes to searching for the next guy for the job. I believe United should have that sorted out as soon as possible. The unfortunate part about negotiating with managers that are in the World Cup or will be participating in the World Cup is you can't really have a chat with them formally until the competition is done. A lot of nations, a lot of federations will not accept a club or a manager to have discussions with clubs about the job. I'm trying to remember the name. Spain, the Spanish coach, trying to remember his name, had discussions with Real Madrid about taking the job. He was sacked. I think after 2 games, he was sacked. He was told, okay, now focus on Real Madrid. He went to Real Madrid. It didn't work out. So egg on his face. Egg on his face. And he ended up not getting good jobs afterwards. So United, if they are going for coaches that are already in national teams, they will have to wait until either the World Cup ends or they are eliminated from the World Cup so that they can have formal discussion. They can have informal ones. Let's say over a cup of coffee, over a drink, over lunch. But now they can't start having formal discussions. They can't start having formal discussions with the next head coach. So it's good to see this week that those reports are coming out that United are looking at certain names. Tuchel is one of them, Ancelotti is one of them, and they have valid concerns. For example, one of the concerns they have is Eric Ten Hag and Amorim were unable to handle the pressure at United. But as I've just mentioned, the board also needs to shield these managers from external pressure. The managers can handle part of it, then them can come out and say, no, we know what you're doing. We are working with them. Continuous messaging. I'll give an example. Let's say at your workplace, you're having a really, really difficult time with a project. Your supervisor should go to the higher ups and say, no, we are working on it. We've hit a snag, yes, but we are on course. We will complete it. We will be successful. But it's unfair for your supervisor to go to the higher ups in a board meeting and point fingers at you and say, no, we were expecting you to complete this. Why haven't you done it? And yet not support him. The supervisor does not support the employee and then come back later and say, no, you can't expose me like that. You are not doing a good job, so you should leave. You should leave. So the United board need to step up. So back to the manager search. One thing that has made me laugh a bit, let me be a bit negative, allow me to be a bit negative, is you remember when the season started, a lot of United fans compared Thomas Frank with Amorim. They said, oh, look at what Thomas Frank is doing. He doesn't need a whole 11. He doesn't need an entire team. He's already winning. He's beaten City. He's among the top 2 teams. And the season was just starting. Months later, Tottenham are in the bottom half of the table. And the coach that they were comparing him with is in the top 10, top 6. So that just shows how volatile football can be. It just shows how emotionally volatile the fans can be. They said, oh, United should have gone for Thomas Frank. They should have sacked Amorim and hired Thomas Frank. Who knows? Probably it will have worked out. Who knows? Probably in a parallel timeline, in another timeline, in another universe, Thomas Frank is the United head coach and it's working out. But he was sacked. Tottenham are what, 8 points above relegation spot? They've sacked him. He's available. So our question is, would the United fans who wanted him at United now say, go for him? No. They wouldn't. They wouldn't ask for that now. But seriously, though, the names being mentioned, Tuchel, Ancelotti, those are good names. Those are big name managers. Those managers have been in big clubs. They know what it takes to manage a big club. Manchester United having that view that Eric Ten Hag and Amorim were unable to handle the pressure at United, it's a valid point. Both of them cracked. You remember Eric Ten Hag during his interviews, he was lost for words sometimes. He did not know what to say. It got to a point where now he was throwing players under the bus. Amorim did the same. When he came on early days, he was saying, I will never throw my players under the bus. Then eventually he did it because of media pressure. When he came on, he said, yeah, I will never do that to my players. Then eventually he started calling out academy players. He was calling out first team players. He was having a fight with first team players. Eventually cracked. The pressure got to him and he cracked. Before he got sacked, most of his interviews were rants. So United going from big name manager, big time manager, that will handle the pressure. It's a good box to tick off. It's a good criteria to have a look at. Mogithi Governor, you're saying, I'm worried we perform, they don't sign. We perform, we fail to qualify. And we don't perform, we qualify. Okay, let me read it slowly. I'm worried we don't perform, they don't sign. We don't perform, we fail to qualify to the UEFA Champions League and fail to attract good players. True. That's also my worry. My worry actually, Governor, is United perform, get the Champions League, get the money, sign players, but not all players that the team needs. Just major tweaks here and there. What Ragnick was saying, just cosmetic changes here and there, like get a midfielder or two, promote one of the academy kids and say you are set to go. That's my worry. That's my biggest worry. That United qualify, but they just make small changes and expect the next head coach to perform. But I get your point. You're worried we perform, they don't sign. You're worried we don't perform, we fail to qualify for the Champions League. So it's a tough time to be a United fan. Because the team will make you go high, will take you high. Hopes are high, expectations are high, and then all of a sudden it dips, pop, goes down. So Dizabi being free, I'm not sure whether he will be the right person for United. Because we've seen Dizabi have fights with boards. We've seen Dizabi walk out of jobs. And the pressure at United is very intense pressure. Even the Marseille job, it was all about pressure. He also started having issues with players. Now, United, we know they are big egos. United need a head coach that can be able to manage big egos. Like Bruno. Like Cunha. Those are big egos. So we don't need a manager who will come in and start having fights with players. Martinez also has a big ego. So we need a player. For example, Tuchel, of course, yes, he's had a few issues here and there with boards like PSG, Chelsea. Ancelotti knows how to manage big names. Like what he did at Real Madrid. That's a very, very good job. He can be able to manage those big names. So the manager search needs to have all these things considered. It's not only about winning results. It's not about winning games. It's about managing pressure, managing big names, managing egos, managing whatever is going on behind the scenes, as well as managing Ineos. Because Ineos have shown that they will let managers out to dry. They'll let them out. They'll hide. They let the manager take the fall. So all that combined, you start seeing that actually the names that United can go for, the list is quite narrow. The list is quite short. So we don't know what their plan is. At least we are getting some messaging here and there in terms of they want a manager that can handle pressure. They want a manager that has PL experience. There are those criteria that we are seeing, few of them. But when you actually look at that job, you look at the United job, there are very, very few people who can actually manage to do the job. At the same time, they are trying to solidify the football structure. They are trying to make it perform well. One of the departments that has done well under Ineos is the scouting. The scouting department has done the data department has done a good job. They are actually using data. Now they've modernized it. Clubs are using data to scout for players. You look at teams like Brentford. You look at Thiago. That's a very good signing. He's second top scorer now. He's fighting with Haaland to get the golden boot. And that came out with scouting, using data, and seeing whether this player is a right fit for the club. So United need to start moving away from signing players because they will sell shirts and signing players that will actually help United win trophies. And that's where the scouting and data department come on. For example, Amorim, there are reports that Amorim was pushing for Emi Martinez because of PL experience. Amorim was pushing for Atkins because of PL experience. But the scouting department, the data department told the board, no, we actually have these two names. We have San Lamens who's available on the cheap. He's young. The salaries will be low. Here are the key metrics and he will improve. And they went for him. And it ended up being a very good decision. You look at Sheshko, he's now starting to come good. We just need to be a bit patient with him. But you look at Sheshko, he can play for the next 10 years because he's still at a very young age. He's maturing. So in the same view, when Ineos are going for the next head coach, they should go for a head coach that it's also dictated by a certain criteria. Like they say, can handle media pressure, can handle the dressing room, can be able to work in this club. But now they need to solidify that football structure in the sense of we need to work closely with the head coaches because the method they want to use is we are not signing players for a specific manager. We are signing players for the club. So these are the players we will sign. So which manager can come in and play with this team? There are two teams that have actually made it work quite well in the Premier League. Brighton and Brentford. The two B teams. Brighton, Brentford. They actually get a coach who comes in and plays with the players. They only get one or two signings. You look at Brentford, Thomas Frank left. Brentford sold a couple of their key players. Mbumo is one of them. And they are still performing well. Brighton, okay, Huzela is struggling a bit. But you remember last season and the start of this season, he had good performances. So that's the sort of way United want to set up. They no longer want to have a manager who will come in and say, get me 6 players, sell these 7 players. And that has been hurting United. You look at Louis van Gaal, some of the signings he made didn't work out. For example, Di Maria didn't work out. Spent a lot of money for him, tried to recoup it, but it was not a good move. You look at Eric Ten Hag, the players he brought in, sold De Gea or let De Gea go on a free, brought in Onana. We know what happened with Onana. Brought on Anthony, didn't work out. You look at Ole, Sancho came in, didn't work out. A couple of players have come in, some of them are still at the club. It hasn't worked out. Maguire took a very, very long time before he settled in. Right now, he's a good player. But if we are honest, how long has it taken for him to actually be this good? So United need to start moving away from that aspect of we are going to let the manager take the fall. We've given you 4 players. That's enough. So you have to win games with that. We don't have money to give you anymore. No. Also, United need to find a strategy. Juventus had a very good strategy. You remember when Juventus were relegated? They had a case, they got docked points, they were relegated. And then they got to a point where they didn't have money to spend. So what Juve did, they started going for old players that are running out of contracts. They started going for players, they know these players are still good. They can give us 1, 2, 3 good seasons. They go for them, owner free, a bit of a loyalty bonus there, here and there, or sign-on bonus, that is. And then the players come on, they started going up. They started coming up. And then slowly they started changing to now getting academy players or young upcoming talents. And you look at Juve right now, yes, they might not be performing well, but it helped them for a bit. It helped them come back to the top to a point where they were now winning the Serie A. You remember they went to United, convinced Pogba to sign a contract with them. They used that strategy. They were going for players that are free, that players that are being let go by their clubs, and they are still good. They can give you 1 to 3 good seasons. AC Milan also did the same. AC Milan also did the same. So United might decide, in my view, United can decide to do the same, but for a very short time as a mitigating factor, especially now that the claims are United are broke. They don't have cash flow. So United can either go for young players, they can go for cheap buys at 15 million, 20 million kind of talent. Build that squad for like 2-3 seasons. Be patient for 2-3 seasons. They say, you just make sure we are getting to the Champions League, minimum Europa League. Instead of going for 100 million kind of a player like Wharton, Baleba, because you are seeing the ticker there saying Brighton are insisting on 100M. Instead of going for such kind of players, take that 100, split it 4 times. 25, 25, 25. Who can we get of a similar profile? The scouting department right now, the data department is good. They are performing well. Credit to Ineos. So they look at other leagues and say, actually, instead of buying Baleba for 100M, there is a player in Bundesliga, there is a player in La Liga, there is a player in Serie A that can come in for 20, 25 million. And their salaries are like 70, 75, 100. And they can do a similar job, if not better. They are young, they are around 21, 23 there. Give them 1 or 2 seasons, they'll become 100 million kind of players. For example, United scouted Caicedo. They decided not to go for him. Look at Caicedo right now, 100 million worth of a player. United scouted Enzo Fernandez, decided not to go for him. 2 of the biggest midfielders, the best midfielders in the Premier League. United had a chance to go for Tonali. They scouted him. They saw he's a good option. They decided not to go for him. So United have a very good scouting department. But normally, I think the decision from the higher ups is we can't see any real value in this deal. So they are going for the buzzwords, the buzz names, that is, the names that will sell tickets, will sell shirts. So it's not only about a sporting decision, it's also about a marketing, a commercial decision. And that's why coaches like Louis van Gaal, Rangnick said that United operate like a commercial club, not a football club. Dak, you're asking, are we saying we are going to just sign only one midfielder next season? From the looks of things, from the looks of reports, I'm not seeing discussions about 2. I'm only seeing discussions about 1. I'm only seeing discussions about one midfielder, and that's worrying to me. And what I mentioned is United have this habit of looking at the team and saying, oh, they are performing. I'll give you an example. They look at it and say, Kobe is good. Kobe will just give him a good contract. We'll sell Ugarte, let Casemiro go, convince Bruno to stay, convince Mount to stay. He's still under contract. We have a +1 option. So we just get one. And of course, Toby Collier is there, Sekou Kone is there. Just get one of them in. Then they'll sign one and say, oof, we've spent 100 million on a midfielder. So we don't have money. You just have to deal with whatever you have. That's how United have been operating. When the season started, we knew we needed a left back. We knew we needed a midfielder. We knew we needed a goalkeeper and a striker. What did they do? Let the season start. Let's just see. Let them play the next 3 games. The window is still open. Let them play the next 2-3 games, and then we see what to do. What happened? Bayandia started. Bayandia played. Beaten by Arsenal. Drew with Fulham. Then they were like, it's true. And what started happening then? Fans, media started saying, United need a goalkeeper. Last day of the window, they went for a goalkeeper. Then they were like, actually, United don't have strikers. So what did they start doing? Went for Sheshko. And went in within a few days, got the deal done. It took 7 to 8 weeks to sign Mbumo. The whole window, United signed 2 players. Cunha, which was done very early, and took majority of the transfer window to negotiate a deal for Mbumo. Then late in the window, they went for Sheshko and Lamens, not because we needed more squad options, but because they actually saw we can't go on with this season without a striker. We can't depend on Højlund, and we can't depend on Bayandia and Onana. And I believe Amorim was very clever in what he did. Amorim actually said, Onana, you're not going to play. I'm going to play Bayandia. Onana, go out on loan. And you remember Onana actually went out on loan on the last day or the last week of the window. So, Dak, that's also my worry. When you look at the reports, United are only going for one. But in real sense, United need 3. They need 2 good midfielders and 1 squad option. Because Ugarte is leaving, Casemiro is leaving. So you look at that midfield, who's being left that can play as a CDM or a CM, a 6 or an 8. It's only Kobe. Mount is not a 6. Mount is not an 8. Bruno is not a 6. Bruno is not an 8. So it's only one option. I'm trying to actually think of who's on the bench, who will be left there. I can't see any other option. You'll have now to go for Kone from the academy, Toby Collier from the academy. Such kind of names. So let's see how it goes. Probably they have a plan. Probably they're actually pushing for UCL so that the money is enough, and it also becomes easier to attract names to come to United. Because if United are in the Champions League, number 1, it's a big name. Number 2, they're in the Champions League. Then probably they'll say, let's just get 3 or 2. But you look at the squad how it is. You remember it got to a point where now also the fans were asking, can Martinez play in midfield? You remember that? It got to a point where fans were like, can we try out Martinez in midfield? That shouldn't be the discussion. The discussion should be, January is coming. Can we get at least one? So instead of focusing on 100 million worth of a player, why not split it 5 times, 20, 20, 20, or 4 times, 25, 25? Go to La Liga, go to Bundesliga, go to even some of the Premier League teams have very good midfielders. For example, Tanaka. Tanaka is a very good midfielder. Why not go for them? Wolves have very good midfielders. Why not go for them? I'm sure even if it's 40 million, they'll still perform. And then there's some players who really want to play for big clubs. There are players who, when they get a chance to play for a team like United, they will perform very well. For example, I said Baleba is not worth 100 because the stocks are low. His performance has not been good. But you may find when you sign Baleba, even if it's for 50, 40, when he gets United, all of a sudden he becomes 150 million worth. Because most African players want to play for clubs like United. Mogidi, you are saying, remember, I think now we've gone to the transfer talk. Remember, we need a left and right back, at least one winger. We need a lot of players. United need a lot of players. Starting with midfield, we need at least three midfielders. Whether it's buying three, whether it's buying two, promoting from the academy or something, that needs to happen. If United are going to be in the Champions League, they need a squad that can play Champions League, can play Premier League, Carabao, and FA Cup. United need to have a bench that when opponents look at the bench, they are scared. For example, City, Arsenal, Liverpool, you look at the bench, you become scared. But United, you look at the bench, you're like, there is nothing much they can really do. At least with Sheshko, and there is that threat, at least with Sheshko. Because he's been starting off the bench. At least also in a game like the Arsenal game, City game, you look at the bench, you see Sheshko, you see Cunha, you're like, yeah, they still have good options. But now Dogu is injured. Ahmad is not performing well, so you're like, okay. So competition is also good. Governor, competition is also good. Imagine if there was another left back competing with Luke Shaw. I believe also the performances that Martinez and Maguire have is because they look at the bench, they see there are young defenders there. Yoro is there. And you saw what Yoro did. He came on, he actually showed Carrick, I need to be starting games. Sheshko comes on, shows Carrick, I need to be starting games. Cunha was benched for Dogu, who's a fullback by trade. He came on and he actually told Carrick, you need to respond. So I'm sure Martinez and Maguire are looking at that bench. They are saying, ooh, Mazraoui is there. Because Mazraoui can't play as a center back. Heaven is there. Yoro is there. So if I don't perform, I'll be on the bench. So competition is good. So yes, a left and a right back are needed. One winger at least, yes, but I would say at least two. Whether it's promoting the likes of Shialesi, United need wingers. You look at that right wing, yes, we have good options of Mbumo and Ahmad, but we need to also have a third one. Even if it's an academy graduate who can be able to rest some players. Like for me, I believe Mbumo needs a rest. The way Mbumo is playing, he needs some rest because you remember he just came from AFCON and has been playing ever since. I know it's one game a week, but that is usually even tougher. It's even tougher when you have one game a week. Then you look at the left wing. Do we really have options on the left wing? We have to now start using players like Dogu on the left. Because Cunha is not really a left winger. He's more of an inverted winger. Someone who likes cutting in, taking shots. He cannot really stick on the wing, like play wide, cross in. No, he likes getting the ball, dribbling towards the inside. Yeah. So players being mentioned there, of course, Baleba, Brighton are saying 100 million or nothing. Elliot Anderson, reports came out sometime last week, over the weekend, that he's pushing for the move, for the City move, because we know City need to replace Rodri. So he must be looking at that and saying, I have an opportunity to play. It hasn't worked out with Calvin Phillips, so they will sell him. So I'm sure Anderson is looking at City and saying, they are constantly in the Champions League, they are constantly in the title race. So let me just go there. It's a much better fit for me than going to United, which is quite volatile. The environment is very volatile. We don't know whether United will play in the group stages of the Champions League and get kicked out. But at least with City, there is some stability. Wharton, it's like it's gone quiet. It's gone all quiet when it comes to Wharton. And a lot of fans don't really rate him to be 100 million worth. Some fans are saying he's not 100 million worth. Some fans are saying he goes missing in big games. Some fans are saying he's going to slow down the United midfield. Others are rating him highly. They are saying he's a good DLP, deep lying playmaker. He's a good defensive player. So I think we are at the mercies of what Ineos decide to do. Other names that are being mentioned are, of course, looking for a second striker, much experienced one. There has been rumors about Hurricane, but minimal, like trying to convince him to come back to England, play for United. There have been rumors of course, players from the Saudi League coming to United. But now the issue is their salaries, because those guys are being paid crazy money. Crazy money. So the main discussion right now is midfield. And the three names are consistent: Wharton, Anderson, Baleba. So let's see. Let's see whether United will get their 100M. Because all players are being, at least Wharton, I saw it's around 80. Crystal Palace will be willing to do a deal at 80. But considering that Glasner is leaving, probably the next manager will come in and say, no, I still need him. I want him. Or I won't come to Crystal Palace if you are selling Wharton. Sometimes that happens. Mark Sundo, you're asking, what are you saying? In regards to what? In regards to what? Man highs. Hi, fellas. Hi to you. Big up. So, Mark, what are you asking? What am I saying in terms of what? Elaborate. Or ask again. I'm waiting before I end the live. Have like a minute. What do you have to say about Wharton? No, I'm saying some fans don't rate him. Some fans rate him. And there are not many reports linking him to United at the moment. Comparing to Baleba and Anderson, the Wharton rumors are quite minimal compared to the two. So some fans rate him. Some fans say he's good. Some fans are saying he's not. For example, they are saying in big games he's nowhere to be seen. They are saying he slows down play. Some fans are saying he's good because he can play as a CDM, he can play as a DLP. So, who don't rate him? Probably I misspoke. I meant the fans. The fans don't rate Wharton. I think I misspoke. It's a live feed. I might misspeak or miss. Anyway. I am one of the fans who rate him that much. Yeah. It is you. There are others who don't. There are many others who don't. There are many others who don't rate Wharton. I've seen a couple of fans, especially on X, say that they don't rate him. He's just being hyped. It's similar to what I said. Baleba, to me, is not worth 100. He's a good player, yes, but I wouldn't spend 100 million on Baleba. I would rather look for someone else like Anderson. If you tell me Anderson is 100, Of course, he's not worth 100. But if you say, if based on the context of 100 million worth of a player, you're looking at Anderson and Baleba at the moment, who would you rather pay 100 million for, based on the context of current form and the 100 million value? Manhais, you've switched again. You are saying no, it's a typo. You do not rate him at all. You genuinely don't rate him. Mark, now you've got me. I think I had misspoken. I don't remember what I've said, but probably I said something off. But what I meant is some fans don't rate him, other fans do. Other fans do. So I'm also tired. Not much sleep. I mean, the game ended late. So if I've misspoken, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Manhais, you're saying I rate Anderson, Baleba, and Wharton not so much. They are chickens. Ooh. Mogiri, Governor, you're saying Anderson is worth, but Baleba is about 60. Wharton hata nipewe bure siezi chukua. Honestly, Wharton will be a good option. Wharton will be a good option. But what I'm saying is, in terms of value, I'm looking for a real life example to give. Oh, let me use this. Let me use this as an example. You might get earpods like this. This I bought a device and then someone just gave me this. They are not AirPods. They are knockoffs. They are not real AirPods. They are knockoffs. In fact, if I open it, you can see how big they are. They are not real AirPods. The AirPods, even the casing is quite different. In fact, this can't keep a charge for 1 hour. So if I get these ones and I get the real AirPods, and then someone tells me these knockoffs are the same price as the real ones, will you be comfortable paying for a knockoff the same value? I still use them. They are still usable. I still listen to music with them. I still use them for calls. It's the same thing with like Wharton. These are still good options. And don't misquote me that I've said Wharton is a knockoff. No, he's not. Because nowadays fans are guys online have a way of misquoting me or saying I'm saying something not that doesn't make sense. Wharton is still a good player. That's why clubs like United are interested, because they've scouted him. When you look at him play, he has very good attributes and he's still at a very good age. So, but now saying that, let's say Wharton, Baleba, Anderson, all of them are 100 M, who will you put high in the list to spend that 100? That's now the question. But if Wharton was available for, let's say, 40, 50, why not? Why not have him? Also, if, let's say, Anderson is not available, Baleba is not available, you're being told Wharton is the next available player at 100, will you skip him? And if you skip him, for who? Will you skip him? And if you skip him, for whom? So, come on, Wharton is not what we need. I see a United player in Anderson. He is. He is a good player in terms of the profile Anderson fits, more so as a replacement for Casemiro. To me, Wharton can also be a good option in terms of United need a midfielder that can control the pace of the game. You look at how Wharton plays, that guy can actually dictate play. He can speed up play, he can slow down, he can switch the ball. If you look closely at how he plays, whenever Palace needs to switch how they are playing in terms of, let's say, the tempo, he is good at dictating play. other than Bruno, at times, not always, other than Bruno at times, we really don't have a player, a midfield player that can dictate play. Maguire and Martinez currently are the profiles that are doing that from the back. Martinez, you find that at times is holding play. You look at Kobe, he's trying to dictate tempo. But United have missed that sort of a player. A Scholes kind of a player who can tackle, who can dictate play. So Wharton can do that. He can dictate play, like, let's quicken it up. Let's make it faster. Oh, we've scored. Let's slow it down a bit. Or the opponents are quite intense. Let's hold on to it. So Wharton is good. I like the fact that he gives the ball, he goes into space, receives it back. And Scholes was doing that quite perfectly. Another player that was close to what Scholes was doing was Shinji Kagawa. Shinji Kagawa would give you the ball, move into a space, he gets the ball back, he slows it down a bit, he waits for players to move in the right positions. It's a give and take. I give you the ball, get in the right space, get it back. But you look at United right now, the only time we see a midfielder try that is when they are trying to like do short triangles and then switch play. But Wharton is good. Like, he can ping a 30-yard ball and then move into position. He asks for it. He starts dictating play. Anderson does the same. On top of that, he's very good defensively. He's a destroyer. He's more like the way Carrick was. So to me, actually, if we can get Anderson and one of Wharton or Baleba, that would be a very good midfield, in my opinion. Because Baleba is also a very good ball carrier. He tackles and he can move with the ball. Baleba is a very good box-to-box as well. But now if we want to continue with Kobe needs to play with a player like Anderson. We don't need to worry Kobe with defensive aspects of the game. No. Let Kobe do what he does in terms of interplay, getting further forward, affecting play higher up the pitch towards the opponent's box. Then Anderson does what Casemiro is doing, just mop up, good key passes. Yeah. Anderson is a direct replacement for Kase. I always see Wharton struggle at times. Yeah, he does. He does. Yeah, so thanks guys for being here with me. Big debate. We've actually gone 7 minutes over time. As usual, we usually take a rest on Thursdays. Don't do live streams on Thursdays. But in case anything pops up, see you tomorrow. So cheers, guys. Enjoy your evening, morning, afternoon from wherever you are. See ya and bye-bye.